So over the weekend, we got this stat that comes out that says Americans are not paying off their credit cards. And I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this was going on during early COVID. And it's because a lot of people were out of work, especially people in restaurants, entertainment and things, where they just got shut down. So if you were a bartender, you were a hostess, hell, you were a cook, you were an assistant manager, all those people, you know, it's curbside pickup only, nobody in restaurants. All those people got hurt terribly. Amusement parks, concert operators, just think of all the places you think of, those folks got really hurt, and it was terrible. And at the time, Americans weren't paying off credit card debt. Then came the news that thanks to the stimulus checks, you know, when the government printed, and you know, they don't really print money, it's digital issuance. When the government issued 1.2 trillion in stimulus, here you go, 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 and people, it's a fact, paid down credit card balances, and then gave themselves a little bonus and spent a little bit. But we're now at a point where people are not paying off their credit cards again. Well, what happened here? 36% of US adults now have more money in credit cards than they have saved. This is the net effect of 18 months of inflation just crushing. Remember the jokes about eggs and about fuel and about heating oil? And thank goodness it was a mild winter, so in the Northeast they didn't have to buy so much extra heating oil. Yeah, guess what? It's all back and then some. And I'm about to show you a chart that talks about this and to give you the most terrible punchline in the world. So if we could have the Fred chart, and if I could see what they see, that would be great.
Got it,
so we've got right now, so 36% of Americans owe more in credit cards than they have saved because they've been using up their savings on household expenses. And here we are. So take a look at that. The gray bar vertically there. So if you're driving or watching at home, what we have a chart here that shows the balance on consumer credit cards since the year 2000. And it was coming up gently, and then there was a big recession, you know, in 2008-9, remember the financial sector collapse and housing, it goes down, but then it spikes. In 2010-11, credit card balances spiked and then start going up gently, and then they drop. In 2020, it's up, but it drops suddenly because stimulus checks paid it off. And it's been going up ever since, and now, ready for this? Consumer loans, credit cards, and revolving plans are almost $1 trillion. It had gotten up over 800 million at the time of COVID. Remember, you know, the famous thing that happened in March of that year, the COVID year, and it dropped all the way down into the almost 700, and now it's gone up $300 billion. Let me say that again. Credit card debt in America, starting in late 2021 to today, has gone up almost $300 billion. To give you put that in perspective, the total debt, remember that's the increase to almost $1 trillion today. 300 billion is the increase. In 2008, at the time of the crash, it was just over 300 billion, about 350. And then it dropped down to exactly 300 after the crisis of 08-09. But now we're almost at $1 trillion, right at $1 trillion, and we've shocked it with another $300 million. And here's the punchline I read, and I couldn't believe it. So this is good statistics and good data. I dove in behind it, and this is coming from Fred.
Yes.
People are using credit cards right now to pay off mortgages each month. Let me say that again. Fred is reporting that banks are disclosing, because they know what you're paying it on, that people have started to put mortgage payments on their credit cards. Let me tell you something. You don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to know that this story doesn't end well. We have a crisis. And for all of the BS that you see, that we're not really in a recession and things are really not that bad, Baloney. We have a problem right now. So what does that mean for you and me? Inflation is crushing the middle class. It's crushed their savings, and now their credit card exceeds their savings, and we've added $300 billion to the total debt. And it means this: if you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you got to know where your people are at, and you got to do things whatever you can. That's why businesses are moving to Texas and Florida. Take the politics out of it. When you take state income tax off of the back of your employees, it gives them some breathing room on the salaries that you're paying them now. You know, this is the kind of things that leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs need to be thinking about. You know, everybody says, well, you got to be in California because you seek venture capital. That's not true. You have to be near, you may need to be near labor markets, but look at the insurance industry with annuities. Actuaries are often working remote because there's so few of them. It's not because working remote is a perfect thing. You know my opinion, it's not. It doesn't instill teamwork, it doesn't build culture, a lot of things. But they can find remote people for something that's rare, and a really gifted actuary is rare. So they do that. But everybody else, you got to keep the band together. And it may be that you move the company. That may be that you move part of the company, because these are not times to stick your head in the sand and just let it happen. As leaders, we need to know where our people are and do everything we can. Like I referenced just a few minutes ago, talking about do what you can to keep your healthcare benefits, do what you can to give some raise to your stars. Again, I hate these things. I hate bear markets, but you know what? I hate what they do. But I love the stories that come out of them, stories of persistence, of leadership, of employees that say, I'm committed and I'm going to make this work, of owners that won't give up on their key people. I love those stories. I don't like going through it, but I love the stories of perseverance, because that is the American spirit of entrepreneurship and free enterprise and liberty and just living the American dream that says, I'm going to make it.